Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine you are in, well, a really crowded airport terminal. The person next to you is shouting into their phone, suitcases are loudly rolling over the hard tile, and yet somehow you hear the boarding announcement with crystal clear precision.
Right, which always feels a bit impossible.
Exactly. How is that actually possible? So today we are doing a deep dive into the hidden technology powering that background sound of your daily life. Specifically, we're tearing into a spec sheet for the QSC AD-S6-WH 6.5-inch two-way surface mount passive loudspeakers.
Quite a mouthful.
It really is. And our mission today is to decode all this dense jargon and figure out exactly what justifies a $910 price tag for a pair of these business-grade speakers.
Well, what's fascinating here is that, when you're sitting in a busy restaurant or waiting at a gate, you probably don't even think about the speakers above your head.
Nope, never.
Unless they sound terrible. So the engineering required to make you not notice them is surprisingly complex.
So let's start with the physical exterior. Because a commercial speaker has to survive environments where, typical home audio would just absolutely perish.
Oh, it'd fall apart in days.
Yeah. Looking at the sources, these QSC speakers feature an IP54 rating, so they're highly dusted and splash resistant. They use this rugged ABS enclosure, sealed input panel covers, a powder-coated aluminum grill, and a 6.5-inch weather-treated paper cone woofer.
Yeah, that weather treatment is key.
It honestly sounds like an all-weather tire designed for grueling mileage. But I have to push back a little here. Does making it a literal tank compromise the actual audio quality? Because weather-treated paper doesn't exactly scream high fidelity compared to, the delicate stuff in a living room setup.
You're definitely right to question that. And, well, there's absolutely a slight acoustic trade-off there.
Okay, I figured.
Yeah, because thickening and treating that paper cone, it adds mass, which can technically reduce its physical responsiveness compared to an ultralight studio monitor. But in commercial spaces, like a humid casino floor, or, say, an outdoor patio, durability protects the investment.
Right, because if it breaks, you're just out of luck.
Exactly. If a patio speaker dies during a busy Friday night, you lose the atmosphere and customers just leave. So equipment failure means lost revenue. It has to survive to do its job, which is the first prerequisite.
Okay, so once it survives, it still has to sound good. And looking at the specs, this thing has a 1-inch silk dome tweeter, a frequency range of 58 hertz to 20 kilohertz, and it pushes a massive 116 decibels of peak sound pressure.
Which is very loud, by the way.
Seriously loud. It also operates at a 16 ohm rating. Why is that specific number important?
Oh, that 16 ohm rating is, it's actually a game changer for commercial setups. Normally, if you chain multiple speakers together on a single line, the electrical resistance drops so low it can literally fry your amplifier.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you normally need these bulky transformers to manage that load. But by starting with a high 16 ohm resistance, you can safely daisy chain a bunch of these speakers together without those extra transformers.
That makes perfect sense. But getting back to that 116 decibels, that is incredibly loud. How does the system prevent that awful effect at restaurants where it's deafening at the bar but like a total whisper at the corner booth?
Well, that is where a technology called directivity matched transition, or DMT, comes in.
DMT?
Yeah, think of a typical speaker like a scattergun. They blast high frequencies straight ahead, while the low frequencies spill everywhere indiscriminately.
Right, just a mess of sound.
Exactly. But DMT physically aligns the woofer and the horn coverage so their sound waves blend perfectly at the crossover point, creating a really uniform 105-degree conical coverage. Instead of a scattergun, it's like a perfectly focused flashlight beam.
Ah, so you don't get those intense hot spots and dead zones.
Precisely. And they combine that physical design with QSS intrinsic correction.
Which is what exactly?
Yeah. It's basically a built-in software filter that dynamically smooths out the speaker's power response across the room with very little EQ needed. It makes up for that heavier weather-treated cone we talked about earlier.
Ensuring every listener in the room gets the exact same sonic experience.
Exactly, regardless of where they're sitting.
That software definitely ties the room together. But here is where it gets really interesting to me. Premium sound and extreme durability are totally useless if the units are a nightmare to mount 20 feet up in the air.
Right, which brings us to the bigger picture. Fast, safe, and repeatable installation is a massive hidden return on investment for audio integrators. It's a huge labor saver.
Yeah, because they include this X-mount system, right? It
Hmm.
has knurled surfaces at the pivot planes and these articulation marks, so installers can actually pre-configure the exact mounting angle on the ground.
Which is huge when you're on a ladder.
I mean, it's almost like setting the exact angle of a tripod on the floor, locking in the teeth of the joints, so when you finally lift the heavy camera onto it, it's already pointing exactly where you want it.
Exactly like that. And they also feature 4-pin Euroblock connectors.
What do those do?
Well, instead of stripping and twisting individual copper wires up on that ladder, you just plug a pre-wired block directly into the back of the speaker. When you're outfitting a massive terminal with hundreds of speakers, shaving 5 minutes off each unit saves thousands of dollars in labor.
Wow. So, what does this all mean for you listening at home? It means the next time you hear perfectly balanced audio in a transport terminal, just look up. You're hearing serious weatherproof engineering at work.
It really does raise an interesting question, though. I mean, if commercial audio tech can pre-configure optimal acoustics for massive, unpredictable public spaces using things like intrinsic correction,
Yeah.
how long until our personal living rooms automatically map and correct their own soundscapes without us lifting a finger?
Oh, wow. From a rugged all-weather tank on a casino ceiling to a self-aware living room. That is definitely something to think about.